What is happiness? Happiness, really defined, the most accurate term, okay, is the one Aristotle used, eudaimonia, which translates not directly to happiness, but to human flourishing. And so when we look at how, we have to appreciate today, appreciating today is about the power is always in the present moment. That's why we have to engage in our lives. What we avoid imprisons us. And so what are we doing to numb out, right? That's the thing, right? Where we choose to disengage, where we choose not to be present. And for the number one distraction for us, right, is social media. There's a study that was done for being on social media all day is the equivalent of smoking 16 cigarettes a day. I think we can all agree smoking 16 cigarettes a day, right, is not healthy for us. It is actually would be killing us. And hey, I grew up in a smoker's home, man. I smoked, early on in my life. And knowing how I feel now, not smoking for decades versus when I did smoke and growing up in a smoker's household, it's killing you. So if the study shows being on social media all day is the equivalent of smoking 16 cigarettes, do you think that is killing you? Absolutely you do. There was another great study that was done with nuns over a period of time and paying attention to their journaling habits, their journaling practice. And what they found is that the nuns that journaled about faith and optimism in their journals more were likely to live longer than those that didn't. What is your gratitude practice? The struggle ends when gratitude begins. And what is that for you, right? Where do you find that? My journaling habit, I handwrite everything, but from a gratitude practice, the very first thing that I do every morning on my phone, on my device, is that I open up and I go to my notes section and I have a note that says gratitude and wins. And I type in the date, and I type grateful, and then I just start typing in everything, or I'll voice it even. What am I most grateful for in that moment? That is how I start my day every day, and I have for years. But that allows me to put myself into an appreciative gratitude state before I even start the day. So what is that for you? There can always be gratitude and blessing in everything. There's a story, I think, from World War II in the concentration camps. And there was a location to where they were bringing all the women and putting them into this house. Well, this house was infested with fleas. And the women were in there, yet every day, every evening, the women would come together and they would read stories out of the Bible. They would read Bible passages, and they would just kind of have the conversations and share. And one of the evenings, they were kind of going around and sharing kind of what they're grateful for. And one of the ladies said, "I'm so grateful for these fleas," right? And as you can imagine, they're looking around and they're like, "What? Are you crazy? These fleas are eating us alive." And she said, "You do realize that if it wasn't for the fleas, the guards would be in here." See, the guards wouldn't even go in there. See, the guards would come in, they would take this Bible from us, and we would not be able to have these moments. And so I think it's always to understand that there can be blessings in everything. There's always opportunity. There's always, being optimistic in every situation. So, being able for them to have that time together, and it was all because of the fleas. So fleas can even be a blessing.